Welcome to Dreadful Whispers Revisited. Tonight's story is about Blackwood, a town shrouded in whispers, where the truth hides in the shadows, and those who vanish leave behind questions unanswered. Katie, a journalist from Blackwood, was drawn to her hometown, a place where disappearances seem like a never-ending nightmare. Katie, a young blonde woman in her late 20s, curious and determined, sits at the counter with all her attention in her laptop. She was reading news articles about the recent disappearances in Blackwood.
"Here you go. Would you like some cream and sugar?" said the waitress. "No thanks. I like my coffee black,"
said Katie. Suddenly, a bell chimed, signaling that someone had just walked in the diner, and both Katie and the waitress immediately drew their eyes to the door. And there stood a tall white man appearing to be in his late 40s, with a briefcase and what appeared to be a small journal in his hand. He was wearing a long black trench coat with black gloves and what looks like a black suit and tie underneath. As he walked to them, Katie realized exactly who he was. "Excuse me, is one of your names Katie?" said the man very intensely with a deep voice.
"Yes, that's me. And your name is Dave, right? I came a little earlier to see what I could find in these news articles."
"Yes," said Dave, "that is correct. And I have some newfound information I would like to show you. Can I have a seat?"
"Yeah, sure. Sit down, please," said
Katie hysterically. The investigator Dave began to tell Katie what he learned while investigating the disappearances in Blackwood. He suddenly gets a phone call before pausing with a horrified look on his face. Dave proceeds to tell Katie that something came up and that he has to go, but that he would like to meet her and show her something later on that could be very helpful in her investigation if she can meet him by the clearing in the woods right off of the expressway. "I have to go take care of some stuff first, but I can meet you there," he said, before leaving out the door in such a hurry like he'd seen a ghost. She agreed and gathered her things to head over to the location that Dave had given her. There stood Katie on a quiet street, bathed in the eerie moonlight, and the snow created a white fog that blanketed the entire area. Dave was nowhere in sight. Now freezing after waiting for what seems like an eternity, her determination leads her to venture into the unsettling Arctic woods. As Katie creeps through the woods peering around the trees and shadows, she stumbles across something poking out of the snow. She reaches her cold fingers into the snow and pulls out a small journal. As she wiped the snow off of the cover, she noticed that this journal looked very familiar. So she took a deep breath and opened the journal and started to go through the pages. And as she began reading, she became extremely horrified. There was cryptic language with satanic symbols and circles and pyramids with demonic rituals to praise and do blood sacrifices for demons. With the journal in hand, Katie started to piece together the untold stories of those who had disappeared, their voices becoming whispers in the night. As Katie continued pacing through the moonlit woods, she came to a clearing and began hearing voices all around her. Startled, Katie realizes she's no longer alone. She looked down and noticed a formation of rocks that looked similar to one of the symbols she'd seen in the journal.
"Who are you?"
shouted Katie hysterically, frightened with her heart pounding out of her chest. The whispers start to become like a chorus, the hidden voices of the missing souls. Katie drops the journal as she sees several dark hooded figures coming towards her. She turns around and gets ready to run when she noticed more shadowy figures coming from the opposite direction. And that's when she came to the frightening conclusion that she was surrounded and they were closing in. She let out a loud scream as her body became numb from the shock before fainting in the snow. This story tells the experience of a journalist named Katie who dived into the mysteries of the disappearances in Blackwood, only to uncover a hidden world of whispered voices and shadowy figures that stalked the woods of Blackwood, leaving only a trail of unheard screams and souls that vanish into the night. Tell me what you think happened to Katie in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories in the future. And always remember, keep your eyes open, because if you get the feeling like someone's watching you might turn around. and never be seen again.